in this room either has a mental illness, loves someone with a mental illness, or has a family member? All right, so let's just go from there.
It takes between 8 and 10 years on average when somebody first experiences symptoms to when they finally get treatment. It's amazing. And mental illness, like any other illness, really does improve when people get treatment early, when they find quality care. So we have a lot of work to do.
The way you really impact this issue is that if everybody knows somebody with mental illness, they will change their way that they think about this issue, because over time, people with mental illness will show their strengths and their abilities, and that really is what will change that whole issue.
We're all the walking wounded, we're wearing the mask, pretending to be fine, dying on the inside, and walking that fine line. And that our strength comes in us sharing our stories with one another.
From the very beginning, I thought that people with serious mental illness were a very special group of people who were getting a very bad deal. I have many friends that I've made over the years, and I've seen a lot of people have a lot of success with jobs and with housing and going to school, and so that makes me, that works for me.
The World Health Organization did research and looked at the impact of income inequality on developed countries. And the greater the disparity between the top quintile and the bottom quintile, the greater the prevalence of mental illness. And when you look at states in the United States, and you look at depression, states that have a narrower gap between the bottom and the top have less depression.
And that's why I think that it makes sense to just be kind to people, smile at somebody when you're walking down the street, because you don't ever know what that could do in terms of making an impression on you.
The takeaway from today's panel, Breaking the Stigma of Mental Illness, is that the community is ready to talk, that the community is ready to heal. In fact, even though it's some difficult conversations, I've left hopeful because of the way that people showed up and the way that they engaged and the way that they shared information and passed out cards and raised their hand when asked if they were touched by mental illness. So in this room, the stigma was broken. And if this room is representative of the community, we're going to be all right. To keep the conversation going, and it's one of the great gifts of social media to stay on the BCS website, to follow at We Are BCS, to follow it on Twitter, Instagram, to use the hashtag Brooklyn Stand Up that we'll be using all year, right? All year, and the hashtag United for Wellness. So we keep the community going on social media, but most importantly, we keep the conversation going on in our homes and with our friends and in our schools.